I'm back. Oh, Lord, what are you doing? I'm just catching up on all your comments. Uh-huh. Hayden, you got work to do for me. Oh. We got 11 people in here right now. Can I actually see who is in here? I mean, besides your comments, I just want to see participants. Will that tell me? No, that'll only tell me people who have commented. Yeah, regardless. It says there's 11 people in here. Oh, look at that. What in the world? Josh, what is your picture? Oh, Katie made a power grab yesterday, so she's a moderator now. Nice. Also, I found something out. Apparently, in order to have monetization on any of my videos, I have to have like a minimum number of hours watched. So like every hour that we're in this live stream, I'm not planning on being more than an hour here. Oh, he's just flexing as hard as possible. Every hour that you guys are actually in the live stream counts as an hour towards a view. If I get enough hours, I could potentially get my channel monetized again. That would be fantastic. You admitted yesterday that you were power hungry. Here, Gengar. This Gengar is pretty cool. My son got this. Anyway, where can I put this? Put him over here for the time being. He'll just watch carefully. I'll have to figure out how I'm going to zoom in and out. I'm going to give people a few minutes to get back in. Okay, now how do I do this? I have a multiple choice. There it is. I have a multiple choice poll that people could potentially join. I'm going to type it into the chat right now. Let's see. Come on. If you have the app Poll Everywhere, you could join the question. I'm going to put a few practice questions in a moment. But otherwise, I'm going to type in the website that you could do. There we go. If you go to that website that I just put into the chat, you can join this polling thing. They say you could either go to the website or you could go to the app that you have on your phone, or you could like text a result. I really don't feel like texting results right now. So let me just do a practice run. And now I get a piece of paper. I'm going to have the multiple choice for AP in a moment, but I'm just going to do like a practice question to make sure that this poll everywhere thing can work. And again, you either have to use the app or go to the website. I'd rather there it is. I'd rather you not have to text a result and then be kind of cumbersome. Oh, good question. What if someone not an AP stat joins? This is an unlisted live chat or live stream, and I only posted the link in our Google Classroom.
Daddy?
Yeah, bud.
I have a new move.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's a rock move.
It's a rock move? That's my son, for all that you can hear. He is playing Pokemon Sword and Shield right now. Who's the Pokemon?
It's the, I forget its name, but it's a bee, and
Oh, is it Vespiquen?
I think so.
Okay.
It's a bug and glass type, I think.
Okay. I will be back in a minute. I just need to help him out with one thing. I'll put Gengar in its place. There we go. Actually, you know what? Hold on, but I'll be there in a minute. I'm just going to pose him the question first. So I'm going to pose this question to the chat. And again, you got to go to pollev.com/ James Markey 600, and or you could go on the app, and I believe you just got to join the James Markey 600 one. I got to unlock the responses. There we go. I believe it's just A, B, C, and D. I'm just going to give you choices. So I don't know, something silly. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Pick your favorite day of the week. So I'm gonna just again, this is just testing this thing out. Go to pollev.com/James Markey 600, and let's see if this can actually work. I'll answer your Pokemon questions in a minute, guys. I'll be right back with my son. Come on, buddy. There we go. Did it work? I don't think it did. Oh. Jacob Reinhold's message viewed for review. Oh, yeah. Of course. Let's report that. How do I report that? Somebody hide his comment again. Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing anything either. How do I make this live? This thing, I had it working earlier. Show responses. How about now? Can you see it now? Yeah, I'm not doing group FaceTime with a million people talking at once. Let me see, where's my... Alright, let me see if I can get this thing going. Okay, still don't say anything FaceTime. How many of you are on FaceTime right now? Because oh gosh, I don't want to be anywhere near that. Okay, let me try the website. pollev.com/JamesMurray600. See what happens. Okay. As soon as I display a poll. Okay. How do I... Is it there now? I think I just activated the poll for ABCD. ABCDE. Sweet. Okay. So if I just activated the poll for, okay, there, oh, I got 7 results in. Interesting. Move that. Okay, 8 responses. Okay, so this might be working, and then so I activated it, and I can see your responses in real time. Sweet. Oh, this is nice. How many responses do I have now? I have 10 responses. 11 responses. Yes, and you can change your results up into a certain point. Yeah, you can change your answer up until I lock it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow people an opportunity to answer a multiple choice question. Obviously, it wouldn't be like this piece of paper right here, but I'm going to allow people an opportunity to answer a multiple choice question. And then after a certain amount of time, I'm going to lock it, and then I'm going to talk about the answer, and then I'm going to show you your results. So let me answer on this poll as well. And obviously, your answer will only be correct if it matches my answer. That is just a fact. So I have 12 responses, 11 people watching right now. If anyone else is going to join, please have them join. Make sure they go to the link on the Google Classroom and join, and we'll get this thing moving. So I'm going to lock the responses. And I'm going to show you what the answer should have been to your days of the week. Let's see if I can do this. Will this work? Kinda. Yeah, come on. The correct answer was Tuesday, just so you know. The correct answer was Tuesday. You're all wrong, except for me. You all know why it's Tuesday. I don't like... I could do that. Okay. Then, after I unlock it, I can clear the responses. Boom. Now the responses are gone. And then we can go ahead and do another one. Huh. This works. This is the best I think I got right now. No, somebody just answered D for some reason, even though there is no question. This is not the question. So, let me just put this up here one more time. You got to go to pollev.com/JamesMarkey600. Yeah. I'm going to clear that response. Cool. No, there we go. Clear that response. Good. Break out some multiple choice questions. Let's go back to the beginning of the year. If we go back to the beginning of the year, here we go. We'll start off with something quite simple. Now again, don't put your answer in the chat. Put your answer in the Poll Everywhere app or website. Let me zoom in on this. Here comes that first question. Advantage or advantages to using surveys as opposed to experiments is, parentheses, are that. One of your favorite types of questions, I know. But I'll give you, where can I get a timer on here? I'm going to give you like a minute timer, and then I'm going to lock your responses. Well, obviously, I'll do 45 seconds now that I've been saying this, but I want to see what your responses are. There's your 45-second timer. It's on right now. I only have 3 responses so far. And of course, after we do a question like this, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. But if you have any particular questions, ask them directly in the chat, and then we can go from there. Got 11 responses so far. All right. I don't get a... Yeah, I can't put the actual buzzing noise on here because it would never mind. It would go through. All right, I'm gonna lock them. Lock. Show me my responses. All of you have chosen A. Let me just see what the answer is real quick. Haha, of course, you were all correct being A. Yes, surveys are generally cheaper to conduct. One is definitely correct. It's generally easier to conclude cause and effect from surveys. Heck no, not at all. That's ridiculous. Just in the chat, real quick, what allows you, or what kind of leads to the idea of proving cause and effect? What do you need to do in order to show a cause and effect relationship? Somebody type it into the chat. It's telling me the poll is locked. Yes, of course the poll is locked. I locked the poll so no one could change their answer. Oh, I could start a timer on the thing. That's cool. I just know the correlation doesn't equal causation. Yes, but what would you need to perform in order to show a cause and effect relationship? Correlation doesn't show causation. Correlation does not show cause and effect. Surveys don't show cause and effect. What would you potentially have to conduct in order to show a cause and effect relationship? Now, again, it doesn't necessarily prove it, fluffy language, but a well-designed one of these will allow you to show a cause and effect relationship. Yay, she did it. That's an experiment. Cool. Let's jump to the next question. Now I'm going to unlock and clear your responses. Boom, cleared. Let's see what kind of question I'm going to do here. Do I want to do that one? No, I don't want to do that one. Nope, I don't want to do that one. Nah, that's a good one. Let's talk about this one. Good. Focus on that. There we go. Next question. In a study of Parkinson's disease, 100 volunteers had incisions made through their skulls. I don't know why. The patients were randomly sorted into two groups, one of which had a new drug inserted into the brain. This is a wonderful question. In the other group, the skulls were closed with no treatment given. The patients did not know who received the drug. Some of them, okay. In the weeks to follow, all 100 volunteers showed similar improvement in physical condition. What is this an example of? Enter your response into pollev.com. Where are my glasses? Jacob, before you do that, make sure you do donate some money. Okay. Oh, I got 12. I got 13 responses. Give you a few moments to change it if you want to, or lock it in. Somehow I have 15 responses. Are people putting in more than one response? How's that even possible? Oh, no, Jacob, I actually can't do a donation until I get my channel monetized again. It used to be monetized, but I fell below a certain number of views, so I have to hit like a minimum number of hours watched, and then once I do, I'm back to being monetized again, and then I can activate it on the chat. So that's what you guys are doing right now. You're actually helping me get back to being monetized. I'm gonna lock your responses. Let me show what you got. Oh, okay. So just looking at this real quick, here are your responses. Gonna hide. Come on. Okay, there we go. Zoom out. Zoom out. How do I zoom out? There we go. There are your responses right there. Almost all of you chose B. One of you chose A. Let's see what the answer was. Of course. It was B. Patients believing that they received the new drug may be able to somehow alleviate their own symptoms. The placebo effect, like a sugar pill almost. But of course, this is like a sugar pill being drilled into someone's brain for some reason. These are the best types of questions that there could have ever been. All right, let me unlock your responses. Clear them off. Let's go to another question. Let me jump ahead a little bit. Let me get to one that's probably slightly more difficult than what you remember. Because again, this is stuff from the beginning of the year. No, that's silly. I won't do that one. Oh. Okay, that's a good one. I like this one. Okay. I like this one. A researcher planning a survey of heads of households. I think some of you may or may not remember this particular question, but a surveyor of heads of households in New York has census lists for each of the 62 counties in the state. The procedure will be to obtain a simple random sample of heads of households from each of the counties rather than grouping all the census lists together and obtaining a sample from the entire group. Which of the following is a true statement about the resulting stratified sample? Yeah, I probably could set it up where you could donate, but like again, I'm not looking for donations. This is just you being silly. Um, like I'm still getting paid as a teacher. Like there are other people who might be losing their jobs in the next few months, but I'm fairly certain that people will always need teachers. Not to mention, I could always make my career on YouTube, and people could just watch me. And I don't know, I could do lots of things on YouTube. How many responses do I have so far? So far, I only have 3 responses. I'll give you a little more time. Well, let's sip my coffee. Oh, are you for real? Oh, wow, I'm so sorry. Yeah, the timing on that could not. Oh my gosh. The timing on that could not have been worse. Literally, I just said people are going to be losing their jobs in the next few months. Well, yeah. I mean, oh, well, not being fired is this better than, I don't know. Somehow we went down to 11 watching? Who's dropping out of the chat? Somebody yell at those and tell them to get back in. I only have 8 responses. Oh, now I only have 10 watching. Oh no. The Marquee monetization project is dying. Alright, I'm going to lock your responses. I have 8 total responses. Let me see what you guys chose. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, this is really interesting. Your responses to this thing, let me just zoom out and kind of show you a little bit. These are your responses. Come on, zoom out. I hate this thing so much. Anyway, yeah, a bunch of you chose E, obviously, and then C, and then there's an A in there as well. That is interesting. Let's talk about this then. There we go. Yeah, a bunch of you chose A, C, and E. So A says 1 and 2, C says 2 and 3. So those people agree that the second statement is true. Let's just read the second statement. It is easier and more cost effective than a simple random sample. Now that obviously potentially could be true, depending on what the back of the card says. Obviously, if you already have a list for each of the 62 counties, if you have a list for each of the 62 counties, then obviously it'd be a lot easier for you to get a little bit from each county. The first one, it is more susceptible to bias than would be a simple random sample. Why? What's the justification there? I don't see justification for more bias than a simple random sample, unless someone could give me a valid reason in the chat. I don't know. Third statement, it gives comparable information that a simple random sample would not give. I believe it does. I believe it does. Comparable information, you're able to compare county to county to county. Back of the card says C. I think, I don't know how many people chose C. Only 25% of my responses. Only 2 of you chose C on that one. Good for you. Fantastic. Yeah, E. I'm assuming if you chose E, I don't know what you'd... Well, would you have said all 3, or would you said only 2? No, it could have been all 3, so you probably just said only 2 was correct. Oh well. Clear them responses. Go to a new question. Oh, just 3. Okay. Okay, let's talk about this one. Again, I'm trying to give you a bunch of questions that you haven't seen since either September or maybe you haven't even thought about since midterms. There we go. To find out a town's average family size, a researcher interviews a random sample of parents arriving at a pediatrician's office. The average family size in the final 100 family sample is 3.48. Is this estimate probably too low or too high? I'm going to type the address back in one more time into the chat, just in case you don't have it. That is the address that you have to go to in order to type in your response to this particular question. Make sure you read carefully. Is the estimate of 3.48, is that estimate too low or too high? And then they ask you why. I got 8 responses. I'm giving it another moment. Just so you're all aware, I don't know if you all been following my my Twitter page. Here's what I'm gonna do. This is just me for the next, I don't know, however long this closing lasts for. As long as it's a Monday through Friday, I'm gonna post a picture, and it's gonna be something different every time. I'm going to lock your responses. Lock. Let's look at what you got. Ho! It's a big middle finger. It's a big middle finger. Yeah. Looks like one of you chose B, one of you chose D, and most of you chose C. Too low because convenience samples underestimates the average results. Too high because of undercoverage bias. Too high because convenience samples overestimate average results. Zoom back down on this one. There we go. It's definitely too high. It's definitely too high. The reason why it is too high is because they are sampling at a pediatrician's office. Random sample of parents arriving at a pediatrician's office, and it's not accounting for families that maybe they don't have kids yet, but they're still considered a family unit. So is it too high because of undercoverage bias, or is it too high because convenience samples overestimate average results? Oh, you chose D because the sample was for pediatricians, so I thought that convenience sample would overestimate the average results. Well, a convenience sample mainly comes down to it being convenient for you. Oh yeah, I'll talk about undercoverage bias in a moment. But like if it would be convenient for you to sample your friends or to just sample everyone in the chat right now just because they're here, for you to go to um, a pediatrician's office and stand there and actually have to randomly sample people as they arrive at a pediatrician's office, it's not convenient at all. The answer to this question is indeed C. It's C. It misses all or nearly all childless families. That the general idea of undercoverage bias is that your procedure inherently misses a certain portion of the population. And because their procedure was to go to a pediatrician's office, you're missing entirely all these childless families. It wasn't your intention to do that, but your procedure caused you to leave out that entire proportion of the population. The idea that there are people who don't have babies. Yeah, of course. There are families all the time that don't have babies, either by choice or because of other things going on in their lives and whatnot. But yeah. All right. Do. Let's see. Ooh. That's a good one. Yeah, let's do this one. Oh, let me clear your responses real quick. Unlock, clear. They're gone. There we go. Here's the next question. What? I will erase all babies to make the sample even more false. There's so many comments that I want to make right now. Some of them are, inappropriate. I'm going to read the question now. Which of the following are true statements about blocking? I'm going to sit back. I don't know if Jacob's comment about erasing all babies should put him in timeout or not. Oh, my word. I'm just getting my messages right now. I'm live streaming directly from my phone, so my messages are popping up as I'm talking to you. I gotta plug back in. Actually, click. There we go. Improve your response. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do about that. Okay, let's go back to the question itself. I can see people changing their answer actually in real time. I can see people who they cleared it off and then cleared it back and then etc. I only have 5 responses so far. I'm going to give people a little bit more time to pick their answer. What happened to that FaceTime group? Did they get bored? Oh, there they are. I can't tell if he just typed out a curse word or not. I'm going to assume those are gang signals. All right, let me lock your responses. the dynamic that is going on in the chat right now, this is pretty much the same as class. Oh, Luke, you can't put Katie in timeout. She's a moderator. All right, let me look at your response. Whoa, with your responses. Okay, this one we definitely got to talk about with your responses. Look at your responses, ladies and gentlemen, to this question about blocking. This is all over the place. Most people are picking D, but that doesn't necessarily mean much, but we'll have to look at it. So hold on. Most of you picked D, 1, 2, and 3. Some of you picked B, 1 and 3. Some of you picked A, 1 and 2. And then some of you picked E. So I'm going to assume that all of you believe that the first statement is true. Just zoom in properly here. There we go. Which of the following are true statements about blocking? Blocking is to experiment design as stratisfaction is to sampling design. Yes, that is a statement that I have given you in the past, that they are similar to one another. Blocking is to experiment. What is that called? They do those for like SAT statements, like this is to this as this is to this. Doesn't matter. Number 2, by controlling certain variables, blocking can make conclusions more specific. By controlling certain variables, how does one control a variable? If it's a variable, by definition, doesn't it vary? I don't know. We'll see what the back of the card says in a minute. Third statement, the paired comparison design is a special case of blocking. Paired comparison. Let's see what the back of the card says. Back of the card says D. All 3 of them are true. Good for you, people who chose D. All 44% of you. Blocking in experimental design first divides subjects into represented groups, blah, 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 blah. This procedure can control certain variables by bringing them directly into the picture. Yeah, variables by nature vary, but if you block, it's not that you're actually controlling what the variable becomes, but you're actually like, what is the word? Isolating a certain variable and determining whether or not that has an effect on whatever experiment you're trying to do. Let's see, and thus the paired comparison design is a special case of blocking in which each pair is considered a block. Yeah, when we get into t-testing, and again, I don't know when I'm going to be able to teach that, but when we get into t-testing, there's 1 sample t-testing, 2 sample t-testing, but then there's also paired t-testing, and that has to do with that special case of blocking. We'll get into those details. We will. Let's see what question. Let me unlock you. Clear those responses. There we go. And ooh, interesting. No, I don't like that. Don't like that. Don't like that. We're going to be sticking with experimental design mainly today. I won't do some of the other things where you need a calculator for them per se until we get a little bit more into this. Here's my next question. Before taking an exam, students either went to bed at their normal times or were sleep deprived for 4 to 8 hours. Half of each group were given a caffeine pill before taking the exam. Determine the number of factors, levels for each, and number of treatments. This is making you think a bit more than maybe you have in the past week. What? Are you just typing in random words now? Well, I got some responses. I'm not going to show you what they are, but they don't match. changing their responses. I only got 4 results in right now. Five responses in. What? Back to 5 responses. You better put in your responses. I'm gonna lock it. I'm gonna show you something non-stat related in a moment, but I want to do this question first. I just wanted to show you something funny. Also, can someone please explain what Jacob is saying with Navy SEAL copy pasta? Or should I not have even said that out loud? All right, last chance. 7 responses. I got 8. I'm gonna lock it there. Lock. Let me look at what you got. Oh, 75-25. All right, I won't change the camera angle this time. I'll just tell you that 25% of you chose B, and 75% of you chose E. Interesting. So 2 factors, one with 1 and 1 with 2 levels, 1 with 1 and 1 with 2 levels. Okay. 3 treatments versus 3 factors, each with 2 levels and 6 treatments. Interesting. So the treatments. Let's talk about the treatments first. Students either went to bed at their normal time or were sleep deprived for 4 or 8 hours. The treatment is the number of hours of being sleep deprived. So, for example, you would either fall into 0, 4, or 8. Those are the different levels within that particular factor. And then half of each group were given a caffeine pill. That is another type of factor that can go into it. Now, depending on where you go into the experiment, and again, actually, if I wanted to, I could draw a tree, splitting it off into 3 directions for 0 hours, 4 hours, or 8 hours, and then off of each of those, I could split that off another 2 with getting the caffeine pill and then not getting the caffeine pill. So in the end, there's actually, let's just flip this around, you're all wrong. You were all wrong. Sorry, I apologize. But there's only 2 factors. The sleep deprivation with the 0, 4, or 8 hours, and then the caffeine pill, with either getting the caffeine pill and not getting the caffeine pill. If you were to draw that thing out, you would end up with 6 different treatments, where, I'm not going to list them out obviously, but where you would get 1 of the 3 levels and 1 of the 2 levels. The answer is D. Oh, sad days. That's one of those sad days where I hang my head in shame. Here, I'm going to show you something cool. Well, my version of cool. I showed you a penny in practice yesterday. I'm going to show you this penny as well. Look at this penny. Oh no. Look at that penny. Oh, of course, I'll go over the factors again. I will. I still have the card in my hand. I just wanted to show this penny. I don't know if you guys have seen a penny like this. These pennies are called off-center strikes. The more off-center they are, the more money they're worth. I once had a penny that I'm not gonna write on the penny, but basically the circle of off-centeredness started about right here, and it was way off. And I sold that thing for about $8, $8 penny, and it only cost me a cent. Mr. Lincoln can't stand anymore. I don't know why I find that to be a funny comment. Anyway, give my pen. Let's go back to Allison's question. Zoom back out. There we go. Now, can I draw this? Yeah, actually, I'm going to draw this on paper. The other day, I made a video for my Algebra 2 students because they needed help with a project. It ended up being a 40-minute video, but it's going to be something that's going to be helpful for them in doing their project. So I like my little rig setup right here. It's similar to what I have in my classroom. Well, Maddie, off-center pennies are very hard to come by. You might only come across maybe you might only look at 100 pennies the entire time you're at work or less, because people mostly pay in cash. The way that you really, really have to find these types of pennies to give yourself a better chance of doing them is to go through boxes of pennies, like I got here. I've already gone through that box of pennies. But you can find some really good ones, and you can potentially sell them. I'll pay you $30 to come to my house with a bottle. Jacob, are you just sitting on piles and piles of cash? Is that what you're doing? That's what it feels like you're doing. Anyway, I'm sorry. Allison had a question, and I want to go back to that question. So, yeah, I was going to draw it. That's right. So, in this particular instance, it said that before taking an exam, students either had one of the three different types of bedtimes, and then they were given one of the two caffeine pills. So they decided to determine the number of factors levels for each and the number of treatments. So in the beginning, it's determined randomly, I would assume. It is determined which of the three different bedtimes that they'll have. They'll either go to bed at the normal bedtime, they'll be sleep deprived for 4 hours, or they'll be sleep deprived for 8 hours. And the assumption is that they're randomly going into one of the three. Now, the three that they're referring to, there are three levels to that particular factor. The factor itself is, well, sleep deprivation. If I can actually write, which I'm not, I'm just writing the word deprivation. There's not even a word right there. But it's sleep deprivation. But there's three levels to it. Then, each of those three things are being broken up into whether or not they're getting the caffeine pill or not. Getting the caffeine pill or not. Getting the caffeine pill or not. In the end, if you are a student going through this experiment, you are going to end up going through only one of these treatments. The treatment being normal sleep with caffeine pill, normal sleep no caffeine pill, 4 hours deprived of sleep with the caffeine pill, etc., 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 etc. So those are the 6 treatments. I'm going to put 2 levels underneath here. 2 levels each. 3 levels each. You could switch these up if you wanted to. You could also put split them up into the caffeine pill or not at the very beginning, and then do the sleep deprivation second. But in the end, you're going to be breaking them up into one of these 6 treatments. The factor, of course, is, well, the experimental factor. What are they trying to figure out? I'm sorry, I'm looking at your chat at the same time I'm trying to explain this. The AP Stat Poker game. No, I'm not doing that. Well, yes, I would have an unfair advantage, but here's the key to the whole thing. I don't gamble. Let's just put it that way. Gambling is dumb, so I'm not going to gamble. Anyway, back to statistics. I want to make sure I covered her question because there's been so many statements. There it is. Could you go over what factors were again? That's right. If I want to give you the textbook definition at this point. The textbook definition, if you are interested in the actual wording of it, should be in chapter 12. as to how they actually split these things up. There it is. I'll bring the page up here. I'll zoom out. Oh, I'm already zoomed out. I'll zoom in. So in your book, if you're interested, this is on page 305 that I'm looking at right there. There we go. An experimenter must identify at least one explanatory variable called a factor to manipulate, and at least one response variable to measure. So it's basically, there are two explanatory variables for this particular problem. One being level of sleep deprivation or sleep deprivation, and whether or not they're getting the caffeine pill. And then going down, go down, go down. The combination of specific levels from all of the factors that an experimental unit receives is known as a treatment. And that's just an example in the textbook with some old guy with some funky glasses. Anywho. All right. What time are we at? It's almost 2:20. Okay. I think we'll do just one more question for now. One more question for now. And then, one more question for now. And then we'll call it a day. I'm not going to be doing these live streams every day, obviously. I have other things to do and grade, and I have a family as well in the house with a wife that's going crazy with 2 kids. But yeah, I will give you guys more heads up. In fact, I'm probably going to send out a little survey just to see what time of day and day of the week would be best. Good question. Maddie, as of right now, I believe AP will be allowed to learn new material. I'm waiting to get the go-ahead from that. It's been implied. I gotcha. Actually, I do have a small update from College Board in regards to the AP tests. But I'll talk about that in a moment. But in regards to new material, it's been implied, only implied, that AP would be allowed to teach new material. We have been given the direct order that regular classes were not going to be allowed to teach new material at all. Not, unfortunately. But that's the situation that we find ourselves in. I just saw a news article the other day that said worst case scenario, we could be upwards of 18 months. And that's worst case scenario. That I don't know about exams, Paige. I haven't heard anything about that. I would not take anything as truth unless you got it in an email from someone from the Board of Education, from the superintendent or the curriculum director or something like that, you know. Actually, we're not that far behind, to be fair, in terms of AP. We are actually about 3 weeks ahead of what I was last year, and I was feeling pretty good about it up until this whole thing happened. But let me read you guys a statement from College Board. This is a statement from College Board from a week ago. This is from March 13th. The AP program is closely monitoring the updates and guidance about the coronavirus provided by the CDC and other leading health organizations. Our first concern is for the health and safety of students, their families, and their school communities. We're focused on supporting student learning and remaining content and skills in their course. Sorry, I'm hiccuping as I'm talking. Now, that's the key statement. This is from 1 week ago. The AP exam administration remains as scheduled for schools that will be open May 4 to 8 and 11 to 15, and for late testing. Now, that is a key statement. Obviously, we are not open. What may end up happening is they may still give their AP exam for like schools that are somewhere in like the Midwest or like out west. I don't know. No idea. Then there was another statement 3 days ago, March 16th. The AP program is developing resources to help schools support student learning during extended closures, as well as a solution that would allow students to test at home. Now, again, this is from College Board. College Board is separate from our school district. Our school district doesn't get to make the call on the AP test. But I'll read that one more time. The AP program is developing resources to help schools support student learning during extended closures, as well as a solution that would allow students to test at home depending on the situation in May. Additional information will be posted March 20th. Then they also have something for specific AP classes. I don't know if this affects any of you, but it says we will announce portfolio submission deadline extensions for AP 2D art and design, 3D art and design, computer science principles, drawing, research, and seminar courses by March 20th. Schools do not need to call AP services for educators to request these extensions. That was the last update they gave 3 days ago. By me saying that out loud, that seems very ominous. That is the last update they gave 3 days ago. I feel like that's a line from a movie before the apocalypse hits. I don't know. But that's where we're at in terms of AP. As of right now, they have not pushed back the tests. There's no real concrete information for us. But we're going to keep moving forward. And we're going to see what happens. Obviously, getting credit for the AP class is not the same as getting credit for the AP test. Everything's been basically thrown into a blender, and we're trying to find our way through that. So, yeah, that's where we're at, unfortunately. I'm sorry that I do not have better information for you guys that are watching right now. No, they're not going to give you all fives. You're not going to outscore me. No, I know, we won't be back in school by the time the AP tests start, and they're not going to give you all fives. You're not just going to back into a five. If you're going to get a five, you're going to earn a five. Obviously, like I said, a lot of this is out of our control. It's out of the district's control. No, it's not fair. It's not fair just to give you fives. I know. We might not go back at all this year. I know. I don't have an answer for the school year. People were asking me before we left. Mr. Markey, what do you think is going to happen? And I told them, listen, I'm not like every other high schooler in America. I'm not like a high schooler who thinks I have all the information. I've read the latest articles. I heard the latest rumor from a friend. Like, I'm not going to do that because I don't know. I thought 2 weeks ago, I thought that everything was just going to go as normal. Yes, and then my next thought, as Maddie just said, I thought we were going to go back April 20th. I thought so too. Yeah. Oh yeah, Lexi. It's the most I've wanted to go back. It's the most I've wanted to go to school in my life. Yeah. Jacob, right now, April 20th is still the tentative date for us to go back. But as Maddie Santarelli just said, it's tentative. Yes, TBD. I don't know how, but this whole live stream just turned into a therapy session, I think, for you guys. A little bit. I don't know. I'm sorry to laugh at that. The crying emoji. Um, a girl that I knew a long time ago. She's in her senior year of college, and she went to the same college that her mom went to. Her mom graduated in, I want to say like 93 or 94 or something like that. And now the daughter's going to that same college, and she's had such a wonderful time and this whole thing. And now, obviously, we're in March, and they should have been graduating in May. And I just saw the mom the other day in Facebook post something along the lines of, no matter what happens, we're proud of your accomplishments, blah, blah, blah. And if we have to go walk onto that empty field ourselves and celebrate that, then that's what they're going to do. Um, I thought that was really sad. But what else are they going to do? This is an unprecedented event. Um, yeah, well, Kansas. I know. This is an unprecedented event. This is going to be an event that, um, honestly, one day you're going to be telling your grandkids about. Um, the old stupid joke about like grandparents being like, back in my day, we had to walk up to school 2 miles in the snow, uphill, both ways, or some junk like that. Um, well, I saw a meme online that said, well, this is going to be your generation's walking uphill both ways. Back in my day, we were quarantined for a year. Oh, man. Yeah, this is, I don't know. Yeah, wait, then the military may I haven't heard anything about the military arresting people, quarantable. I don't know. Yeah, don't be sad. It's, yeah. Oh, it happened to you? What do you mean it happened to you? Well, I don't doubt that. I love how everyone's like sharing their real emotions, and then all of a sudden it's like Jacob's like, "Help! I'm being held in an underground facility," and everyone's like, "Cool." Somebody take 5 points away from Katie. Um, Maddie, I know you say here I come college. Colleges are shut down too. If public schools are shut down, then colleges are going to be shut down too. I'm sorry. In fact, colleges shut down way before the public schools did. Believe it or not, a lot of colleges were telling kids not to come home, or I'm sorry, not to come home, not to come back after spring break, and their spring break was like a week ago. Yeah, no, Katie, I get that. I get that. Everyone's kind of going through their thing right now. My wife um, had a bit of an issue with that this morning that she and I have talked through. Um, it's not it's not ideal. I know. I agree. Fall semester. Oh wow, to get her stuff. It's the world we live in now. It won't be forever. It will not be forever. And one day, you're all gonna get through it, or get past it. Gosh. Okay. Sorry, I'm Jacob's reasons. Um, and yeah, Katie, I understand your idea. Everything might go back. I mean, go back to normal. Everything might open back up way before 1.5 years. But yeah, this world that we're living in right now is going to be much different than the world it was before. Um, I mean, obviously the stock market is crashing, and that doesn't really affect most of you right now. But for a lot of older people, their entire retirement funds are gone. Um, for a lot of people, they're going to be losing their jobs, salaried jobs over the next little bit. I mean, for myself personally, I'm pretty safe because I'm a teacher, and the world's always going to need teachers. But who knows what's going to happen? We need something. Yeah, if you all read, if you all read Griffin's response um, about a government experiment, that's just, I just, wow. Man. I'm going to recommend something to you guys. Let me just see if I can find it. No, do I have to go on YouTube for this? I'm going to get off this live chat in a little bit. I will. I'm going to try and find something right now. That's a good one. Yes, I know. It's kind of like therapy. I'm going to recommend a few shows for people if you have watched too much on Netflix and you want to watch something newish. I'm going to recommend a few things. I'm going to type it into the chat, and then I'm going to sign off. I'll come back with more recommendations over the next few days. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Closest human contact in so long. I'm going to recommend on Netflix a few shows. I'm going to recommend Parks and Rec. I'm going to recommend Arrested Development. And I'm going to recommend The Good Place. Now, for Parks and Rec, watch the whole thing. The whole thing. You got to do that. Arrested Development, only watch seasons 1, 2, and 3. Do not watch anything past season 3. You will be grossly, grossly, grossly disappointed. For The Good Place, they only have seasons 1, 2, and 3 on Netflix. Season 4 is on NBC or whatever TV streaming you have. I'll put that in there for you. Those are my recommendations. They are fantastic shows. And in this time and place, you really probably need more comedy than you do need drama. So, I'm going to forego... I know I mentioned doing a last question, but I'm going to forego it at that point because I hear my daughter crying in the other room. In fact, hold on. Let me go get her. See if she wants to come in and say hi. Hold on a sec. Say hi to some people? You do? Who's that? Kitty. That's a kitty. Okay. Can you say hi? Oh, she's waving. Hold on, let me see if I can, hold on. Let me turn this around. Boom. Come on, you. You all fell to the ground. Oh. There you are. Look. Right there. Can you say hi? There she is. Did you just wake up from a nap?
Yeah.
You did? Can you say your name? Who are you? Oh, you're getting shy now? Can you give a smile? No smiles? Oh, little girl. You're okay. She just woke up from a nap. And she is incredibly cranky, but she stopped crying. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I could wake up from a nap like that. Everyone would be happy. Oh, big yawn. Maybe when she's in a better mood, she'll sing a song for you. Do you want to sing a song now?
Oh.
No, I didn't think so. Okay. Well, we are going to sign off. I will give you guys um, a heads up, obviously, way before we do the next live stream. If you want it to turn into a therapy session, by all means, we'll do that. But obviously, I'm gonna focus way more on AP stat than anything else. All right, can you say goodbye? Oh, you got boogers. Where are your boogers? Yeah, they're your boogers. Okay, you say goodbye. You blow kisses. No, that's just more boogers. Okay, I'm signing off.